This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your good buddy Mike Falzone, half of the dynamic duo, Dynamic Banter. It's me and usually it's me and Steve. Now it's just me, and I want to talk to you. Going pretty good so far. I want to talk to you about something called story blocks. You've heard of audio blocks and video blocks and all that. Basically, it's stock images and stock photos, stock vector stuff that you can use in your own project. That's essentially there's this big artist marketplace, and you could pay actual artists to give you art that you can't do, that you can use in your stuff. Let me tell you something. When I'm pressed for time, I use it all the time, and they've always been good to me, and now they're giving back to you. I'm talking about in the form of a free trial. You go to storyblocks.com/banter to try it free for 7 days. Do you have a poster that you need to make, or do you have a book that you're doing, or do you need stock images for thumbnails on YouTube or something like that? That's Storyblocks, STORYBLOCKS.com/banter to download anything from 400,000 images, unlock discounts on millions more. Let me tell you about some of the things you get. You get high quality stock images for a fraction of the cost with Storyblocks. That's obvious. Download all the stock images your heart desires until it explodes from their member library, which is what I dig into a lot of the times, including 400,000 stunning photos, vectors, textures, and icons. Plus, save on millions of additional marketplace items, where the artists take home 100% of the sales price. You're an artist, you're helping other artists, and when everybody helps each other, everybody gets helped out. Get that tattooed on your lower back. All content is royalty free, so you can use it in your commercial or personal projects. How personal are your projects? How loose is your goose? New images are added regularly, which is a word that's always hard for me to say because of how big my tongue is. So there's always something fresh to download. Just go to storyblocks.com/banter to try it for 7 days. I'm telling you, it's Storyblocks. Listen to me, please. STORYBLOCKS.com/banter to download anything from 400,000 images and unlock discounts on millions more. And Storyblocks? And now on with the show. My shirt is up in the back.
Are we recording it? Are we on?
Now we're recording.
Oh, neat.
Do you want to... we can go back and do it over.
No, I like it. I have no problem with it.
You look like a cute spaceman.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. It's your boy, Mike Falzone, half of the usual duo you might recognize on a podcast called Dynamic Banter, and we're back all up in your butt. And I was away last week, and I apologize for that. Thank you very much to Will Haynes for stepping in for me. And now Steve is away. Steve is at New York Comic Con, and so my good buddy, you're gonna have to help me. I want to say,
what is
Alex? Elliott Morgan.
Elliott Morgan.
It's your name slipped my please forgive me.
Oh.
Elliott, my good friend Elliott Morgan is here. Very talented comedian, actor, YouTuber, superstar,
YouTube superstar,
and most recently, movie star.
I've been filming nonstop.
Yeah.
And today I woke up and I've been on this kick. I went to, I go to this thing. Basically last week I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my shit together and I'm going to just become a bit of the quote, the phrase that I was adopted is motherfucker.
Yeah.
In terms of.
You're going to go around.
My output. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to. What was the joke that you had?
You're gonna toss.
It's like I think it's hysterical, and it didn't get a laugh.
It has not done well yet.
It's still. I think I got it figured out with that joke. So for some backstory, everybody, Mr. Michael Falzone one time. But I've been filming stuff, and it's been a great time, and I'm a little tired, and I'm working hard, and it's beautiful. So that was catching me up. But Mike sent me this text. He's like, "What do you think of this joke?" And it basically was like, "Where do you think the term motherfucker came from?"
Yep.
Was it like somebody was walking around and they were like, "Oh, that guy's a motherfucker," and then like, "Why do you call him a motherfucker?" And then you're like, "Oh, he fucked all of our mothers."
All of everyone in the
But
village.
I think it's funny because you think the term mother effer would mean in my mind that you F your own mother.
Yeah.
But the joke is that no, this is a guy who makes it his mission to all of his friends.
Yeah.
He finds their mothers and he makes love with them.
That's
I
his
think
thing.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
But it is.
Unfortunately, you're the only person, and sometimes a stand-up crowd is filled with multiple people.
Yeah.
that
Some
aren't
of them
you.
are probably motherfuckers.
And maybe they take offense to that joke,
Yeah.
and maybe that's not something that I thought of.
You've always been a pretty polarizing figure with your jokes.
Yeah,
so.
I come out with the motherfuckers, and you don't know where to
Where to
turn.
begin.
Thank you very much for filling in for Steve.
Thank you for having me. I know it was. How far down the list was I?
You were number one because I
You know my schedule.
You're my best friend. And usually, when you ask your best friend to do stuff, there's kind of an obligation to say yes.
Yeah.
And I was
start
like,
with the.
if he's available, he may not want to do it, but
Yeah.
he will do it.
Yeah.
So that was.
And here we are.
And here we are. And then you came over, and then I made you sit on my floor.
Yes, that's fine though. I don't mind that.
It's a extension cord situation. that I'm
So
dealing
what
with.
does Steve normally do? What can I do to do? Is should I turn up a sound effect?
No, well, you're almost there. You have.
I was trying to fake the sound effect. Is
Yeah.
that too much?
Uh,
Steve and I are different types
Yeah.
of hosts.
but you're also the same. You know, you have glasses.
Mm-hmm.
You have a beard, I'm noticing.
We enjoy laughter. We enjoy camaraderie.
Colorful,
Colorful
button up, short sleeve shirts.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong.
And
Do you mind if I clip my fingernails?
I would
If I could do it one-handed, that'd be kind of cool.
I would watch that.
How
would
cool
want
would that be if you could cut your...
it would save you some time. Imagine
You
the
got
things
really
that
good
you
at
could
it,
do
yeah.
with your other hand while you were cutting your nails.
I can think of one. Was that a Steve joke? Is that something Steve would say? Wouldn't he do like a masturbation joke?
Yeah, but he would say it in a different. He would put like a voice on
He
it.
would be like, he'd go like, I can think of one thing.
Yeah, he'd do that, and then I'd laugh like
I
that.
can think of one thing, Mr. Oh, you take the one hand, cut your fingers. Other hand, you're
Holy shit! Holy shit! Yeah, he would do things like that.
God, I miss him. I miss him.
Yeah, it's like he's been gone forever, and I'm trying to right the ship, and I think we're all going down, but at least we're all together, and
Right the ship.
I'm just happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. This is really fun. What we
You
asked
haven't-
people what their favorite thing is, diving right in.
Yeah.
Ryan said worms.
Hold on.
Oh,
So we
okay.
didn't have anything to talk about
Oh.
because we're friends.
We have plenty that we could talk
do.
about.
We do actually have plenty that we could talk. Do you want to do that
Let's
before
do
we
some
do
of that.
the Twitter
That
things?
sounds great.
Okay. How you doing?
I've been in the woods.
Oh
for-
shit, man!
Oh,
I'm having
bummer.
a headphone situation, and I'm back.
Oh, nice, man.
You've been in the woods.
I've been in the woods. I was with the Sugar Pine 7 gang.
Yeah.
A very last minute thing. Last week I was shooting a thing with Jarrett Sleeper about we did a pitch pilot called Trigger Men, and I'm really excited about it because it's basically like we play these kind of hipster douchebag pseudo enlightened or actually enlightened hitmen. For
do you find out by the end of the season if you're pseudo enlightened or actually enlightened?
I think it goes. I think our characters, in some ways, are actually acting in an enlightened way, but really they're not. It's a metaphor for, and there's no way that the next thing won't sound pretentious. But it's a metaphor for the way that we act as a society, where we espouse these certain types of like enlightened beliefs, but then we compartmentalize our hatred. And so these guys
Interesting.
are like, like they're really into like women's rights, and they're into like, like all the good, all the kind of liberal progressive ideals, but they brutally murder people for the government, for a capitalist, government with a military industrial complex, and they act as these sort of like mercenaries for the government. So brutally violent, like hilariously brutally violent. And like Jarrett and I were talking, and we're like, I've never done something where like we do things and they just never see the light of day, or they never get made. And so for me, I've been doing like, I'll do like I have like the hour that I'm working on and all this other shit, and it's fun, but it's all
it'll never see the light of day.
Never see the light of day. Certain other projects that, dear God, they just seem like they're never going to see the light of day.
Some good stuff.
And just good stuff in there. And then Jarrett, like, I posted some dumb Instagram video of me like with coffee in my car wearing a suit, and Jarrett was like, "What if we did this?" And I was like, "That's a great idea." Like 3 weeks later, we're like shooting it with a crew and all this shit, and I'm
That's
like, "What?"
great.
Like the stars aligned. It was so crazy.
That's the dream.
It was so neat, yeah. And it was the dream. It was like, oh, we came up with an idea, we started shooting the idea, we collaborated, everybody was on board with it.
Yeah.
The director and the producers and everything were awesome, and so it's really cool and exciting. Following that, those were night shoots, so I was done at like 4 a.m. and then I went to the woods, and I filmed with the Septic gang.
Because this is dynamic banter, I have to tell you that Night Shoots was my favorite Steve Miller Band song.
Right.
I have to interrupt the story, and I have to say that. You were shooting with Steven Septic.
Can I be honest with you, man? I've thought about that joke structure a lot.
Yeah.
For some reason, it always escapes me. Like every now and then, I'll have a good one, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's my favorite Nora Roberts book." Or something.
I've heard you do it.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Yeah.
I wish I did it more. I love it so much that I don't want it to get played out. And based off of what you just said, sounds like it has.
Wait, I can make it better. You have to do an
obligatory sort of like.
No, I can make it better.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to give me 1 second, because this is what Steve does. Steve has the power of the internet. Oh, excuse me. I misspoke.
Yes.
What did you say? Night Shoots was my favorite Bob Seger song.
Bob Seger song.
That's the funniest version of that joke. I just didn't say it right away because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, and I can't thank you enough for pointing it out. You were shooting in the woods with Steven Something.
I was shooting in the woods. I shared a bed with another man.
Yeah.
A single bed. We slept nuts to butts. As
Sure.
Dean Delray.
Sure. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
No, he slept the opposite way. But it was in a room. It's a cabin in the woods, and it's like me and this guy who I've met once before. His name's Devin. He's awesome, good dude.
Yeah.
And then there's like James and Steven and Sib, the other one, and with the one with the
I know
fucking
him.
head.
Yeah.
Cobb. Yeah. And so Corn on the Sib says. We're all just in the room, and it becomes like we've been shooting for 20 hours, and then it becomes at the end of the day a very quick slumber party, and I'm like, this is so much fun. It was so enjoyable. And then there was like, it was a
That's nice. I can't wait to see it.
I probably shouldn't have said that, so maybe we should.
Oh, you're gonna now. I'd rather start the podcast over to tell you the absolute truth.
Okay, well, let's do it and see if
this.
Septic gets mad, and if he does, then I'm sorry.
How about this? Maybe we could all agree, 50,000 of us, to just not tweet
say
at
a fucking word about
Steven Septic.
Oh, shit, I really shouldn't have said that. I don't think they're supposed to know that, but
okay,
that sucks. What should we do?
Let's keep thinking about it.
Can you just bleep out? Like
if I knew what time code it was.
We've talked enough, yeah. Like it just bleep out the part where I say I get to blank,
and then I'm gonna leave in everything else.
Yeah, I think that's fine because it'll give context. I think it could beep.
I don't think that's too much work. I think I have enough time to do that.
I knew I was gonna say something stupid, but anyway, it was a lot of fun and it was really enjoyable, and I'm very tired. I'm happy to be back, and I'm taking today off.
I'm sorry that I had to make you do something on your day off.
No, I'm still doing a little bit, so this is nice. It's enough to keep me from feeling like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, oh no, like I didn't work out. I've been working out.
Yeah,
that's fun, but I haven't done it obviously since the shoot. But anyway, you're under the weather.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
It kind of is along the same lines.
Please.
We should probably move this, right? I thought it was yours, but it's mine, and that's my fault. I ended up losing a couple pounds before Toronto. And then I went to Toronto and I walked a lot. I was walking like 5-6 miles a day. So I was kind of keeping it off and feeling tight. When you feel tight.
Oh yeah, that's what it's about, man.
Yeah. A lot of people think that the hokey pokey is what it's all about, but it's not.
No.
If you play it backwards, it actually says,
The mainstream media would tell you
yeah,
that it's that.
that's what they want you to believe.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about keeping it tight. And I was feeling pretty that all throughout Canada. And then I came back and I had Taco Bell twice. And now today it's different.
Can I be honest with you? I had Taco Bell about half an hour ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, I have a thing where it's like if I'm gonna have a day where I'm gonna quote unquote just be, I have no problem. I will wake up like I'm having a scotch right now. It's noon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
It's noon somewhere.
It's noon somewhere. I always like to say.
Yeah.
Always like to say. And I forget where I was going with that. But, I just go for it. I'll have Taco Bell. I'll eat like shit. I won't work out, and I'll just let my brain kind of go to mush. And then the next day, I'm like, all right, let's do this. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has this thing where it's like, you got to work all the time. And I'm like, well, there's a happy balance. Now, that said, I have plenty of days where I don't give a shit and I should try a little harder. But what are your symptoms?
Of
Sickness.
not feeling good?
Yeah.
I'm stuffy. I became stuffy.
That sucks.
I'm
man.
fine everywhere else. Zoya was complaining about a bit of a sore throat.
That
She's a
sucks,
little
too.
achy.
I thought I was getting a sore throat in the woods. Yeah, it was allergies. Maybe
That's where you
allergies.
find it sometimes. I think it is allergies because
Yeah.
the weather is starting to change, autumnal equinox and what have
Yeah.
you.
You were on a plane.
I was on a plane, which is only germs. There was a baby. Can I tell you something?
I know,
'Cause it's a
going.
podcast?
I don't like it.
I mean, the stereotypical, the old trope
Oh, yeah.
is to say that the baby was crying the whole time, which obviously the baby was crying for 6.5 straight hours. But it was just the dad, and I don't think the mom was around. Or if the mom was around, she was dead
She's not a good
because
mom.
she didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hear her. The only reason I
Sure.
know that the dad is around, these people are behind me, because the dad didn't stop talking to and reprimanding his kids like no one else was on the plane
Oh.
for 6 hours.
Tell me what was said. Can you give me a soundbite?
done with the apples, Julian?
Ugh.
Julian, well, are the apples done?
Oh, man, I would have so much fun.
Is she done with the... Kyla, is she done with the iPad? You get your hands off the iPad if your sister's not done. And so
There
on
are
and so
some
forth.
parents who are more interested in people around them knowing their parents than they are in being parents.
Do you think that's what that is? Or do you just...
A little bit.
I took it as, like, complete lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, but I think, well, maybe. Or it is the opposite where they want people to... I don't know. It could be both.
It could be both.
I've met some people recently where they're... I met this guy recently, and you ever meet somebody and you're like, oh man, this is a truly stupid, like a truly dumb person.
Yeah,
I know
met
that
him.
I get,
There's
I
way
get-
the next thing doesn't sound pretentious.
Oh,
Take
exactly.
two.
I get accused of whatever. I'm somewhat intelligent.
I think you're a
And
smart guy. I've
thanks.
seen you. I've seen how many books are in your apartment.
I own some of them, but the reality is I whatever. And this guy was he was a level of stupid that I was like, I wished I could have been that, because he was dopey and happy and just like aloof to the world around him.
Ambivalent, is that the word?
Maybe, yeah.
Does
sure.
that mean what I think it means?
Sure. And
I don't think that means. I'm sorry.
ambivalent, I think is more like you just don't care. You're kind of lackadaisical.
Yeah.
Lackadaisical is kind of like another of the same.
I meant like ignorant to anything that might
Yeah.
make him sad.
Anyway, you see these people, and I think we got to teach these kids to be a little bit more self-aware. I
Okay.
think that should be the number one thing that you teach your kids, rather than like any religion, any moral compass.
Yeah.
I don't care about if you have self-awareness, you're probably going to act somewhat morally in most situations.
You fall in line
Yeah.
afterwards. Most of the things line up with, as long as you got that down.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I
Exactly.
agree with that. Did you have anything else?
Oh God, this guy! I have so much on this guy.
Oh, so check this out.
So dumb, and he was just like,
Is he going to listen to this, you think?
he wouldn't know how to even access the podcast. We're safe.
Yeah,
But,
okay.
man. Anyway,
Did
what
you
else
want to...
got? No, I got nothing.
Okay, we'll take a break. Maybe we'll come back to him.
Are we gonna do that fun thing where you guys say sponsors and stuff?
Yeah.
You guys making good dough on this thing?
I mean,
Okay.
what's good dough?
Who knows?
because it all goes back to something else.
Yeah. Isn't that
You know?
interesting? Late stage capitalism.
Yeah.
It's destroying all of us.
It's destroying all of us, and that's which brings us to our sponsor. No, not just yet.
Can I grab that bottle of scotch on the counter?
Yeah,
Let's get
of
weird,
course.
man. Let's make this fun. What do I need to do?
We
to
can't
make
get weird because then we're encroaching on Pete Holmes, and we'd like to remain our
Oh
own.
boy, that was deep.
Did you like that?
I did actually really like it, but it took me a second. Because I
Elliott's-
was like, why would we be? Oh, right. 'Cause
Elliott's going to take off for a second.
this has been really fun, you guys.
We loved having him, and sometimes your guest has to get up and roam around a little bit. And you know what? If it was any other podcast, I would say no, I don't think so. But it's the Dynamic Banter podcast, and he's back.
If it was somebody else's podcast, you would be like, no, I don't think so.
I've never heard anyone get up on anybody, not in
Really?
the middle. Have you? What kind of podcast do you listen to? Do people get up?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Oh, all right.
I don't think I'm breaking down any barriers.
No, I don't think so. I was more just
Oh, okay.
I was killing time till you came back. And now you're half back. You're kind of doing like a squad pose right now. Are you Are you doing all right?
Joe Beretta texted me.
Oh yeah, what did he say? I had a great time with him the other day.
Oh,
What did he
really?
say?
Good, man.
Yeah, we
Oh,
had a
yeah.
shoot.
I was supposed to be on that shoot, and then I was not.
We can't talk about it, but I think once it
Oh.
comes out, everybody's going to be real happy and excited because it was a lot of fun. Did Joe say anything fun?
No. Joe said what couldn't only be described as opposite of fun.
Okay. Well,
I love The Office.
that's the people who make the exact same show as The Office but don't want to get sued.
Uh-huh.
Could you? What would that be called? The Workspace. The workplace.
Married life is good, though? You like being married?
I love being married. You know what? Being married puts a extra weird stress and sadness in your life sometimes. Like me and Zoya are
Wouldn't know.
in relatively. I mean, we could talk for days, but she woke up today and she worked so hard, and she hasn't been feeling herself lately, and she woke up today and she had like a sore throat, and she was like bummed out about it.
Yeah.
And we're relatively in good health. We don't get sick very often.
Insult
We try
to
to
injury kind of thing.
Yeah. And I just felt very badly for her, like I wanted to take it all away.
Yeah.
And
And you can't.
and otherwise, if I didn't feel that, like if I was still in Toronto, I'd be fine. Now I'm sad for the person I love the most.
Yep.
You know?
Well, when you get married,
Yeah.
for better or worse, you become kind of one unit, I think, more so than you were previously.
For better or worse, for Richard Poor.
I mean, I heard it, I heard it. And I just tried to move right past it. But you said, we're going to pop this in reverse, and we're going to take a little look at this mailbox.
Health.
And I think that when you become we live in a very postmodern society where people like to think that marriage doesn't look. You asked me on your fucking podcast.
I know. I just didn't think we live in because that was the pretentious round 3.
well, whatever.
Go ahead. We live in a post.
We do live in a postmodern society, kind of.
What does postmodern mean?
Postmodern is sort of like you get rid of the kind of like stuff that makes life romantic and mysterious, and you think that everything is just scientific and like cut and dry.
Uh-huh.
And it I think postmodernism has it removes a lot of like the magic of life. But I think that marriage is still something. You can give me that look. Oh, I see you're gearing up for something. Listen, it is an idea that has given us a lot of good things, but it has resulted, I think, in a I don't know. It's a very kind of just like it's dark. It's a little dark, and something like marriage, I think, even though it is a symbolic thing, we like to pretend it's very detached and very governmentally whatever, and it is what it is, and it's a contract. But I think something happens psychologically when you get married to somebody, or when you are married to someone. There is a bond that cannot be replicated without marriage, I believe. And some people don't believe that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Look,
doesn't postmodern mean future? Because isn't modern something that's always changing with us? You know, like the most modern thing is just synonym for newest.
Yeah.
That was very pretty what you said at the end of it. I think it changes.
If you take any word and you just decide to break it down in its most literal way, isn't surgery? Isn't surgery like when you go real fast for a second? Isn't that kind of? Don't
You're
go
thinking
all
of
pretentious.
synergy.
Is synergy when you sin with your girlfriend?
On the next episode of the Workspace.
Sin her as well. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, my sweet goodness. We're doing a great job. Elliott, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, right? I told you the scotch was going to help.
Yeah, it does help.
I think it's a breaking bread thing for me.
You have to breaking scotch.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit. You sit down, you enjoy yourself. You have a nice little thing. It's a camaraderie. I mean, granted, you're not drinking, but by the way,
I wish we had a candle. I wish we had a leather thing. I wish we were sitting in a cigar bar
right?
without all the cigar stuff. Wouldn't that be nice?
Were you? You weren't there. You weren't there. You canceled. One of the biggest mistakes of your life.
What are you talking about?
There was a Vegas trip that happened with me and my roommate and one of my best friends, Peter Rollins, as well as Andrew Delman. And you didn't come, but we saw the
you saw an
whatever the
implosion,
hotel
right?
was implode, yeah, and that was amazing, and we all got covered in dust, and it was magical. But we went to a cigar lounge while we were there, and it was unbelievable.
It's a very comfortable place.
Oh my god, it was like, wait, did we go in there? We went in there for the bachelor.
Oh no,
party.
no, I was just saying.
Oh, we were in
them
that same
in general.
We were in that same but we were in that same casino when we were at when I took that Adderall.
Sure.
First time in my life. Welcome.
Did that make things different?
Welcome to your new life, Elliott. Oh, we make magic pills? I didn't know we make magic pills. I'll be playing blackjack for 48 hours.
Is that what happened afterwards? Were you good to go after
no
that?
one would hang out. Everybody got tired, so I sat awake in
That's
the
what
living
happens
room.
when you're the only one who takes the Adderall.
I know. I didn't know. Or other people who were more used to it. But here's something we can talk about, and something that I want to compliment you on. You have a tendency. You're very. I was thinking about this over the week, but I was like, you have this like ability to exist in the world, but not of it, which is a very biblical term.
That's fun.
But I was thinking about it in terms of stand-up because, like, you and me, we're different people, but you we go to we'll do a comedy show, then we'll go to a bar, we'll go to a bar, go to a comedy show, we'll go to the bar at the comedy show, or we'll go to the comedy store, which has a bar, and we exist in this culture. We're pretty heavily embedded in the stand-up world of Los Angeles for all intents and purposes, and you have been able to. You barely drink. Like if you do drink, it's like I saw you when you got off the plane and you ordered like a whiskey and diet, and I was like, hell yeah,
flew over the bar.
Yeah. And I was like, Mike, I was like, where have you been? Welcome.
It's very classy. Aside from the clambering over the bar and basically needing a drink and begging for it.
I think you ordered it before you said hi. And I was beside you. Not somebody between us. But then another thing that's been going on, and I'm really having a difficult time with it, and thank you for bringing it up, is like a year and a half ago, I started every now and then, I'm not going to name names, but I wound up in a particular environment where I began smoking cigarettes.
Sure.
And I want to talk about this for a second.
Okay.
Because there's going to be people who are in your audience who smoke cigarettes, and they understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no
there's
doubt.
There's going to be people who never smoke cigarettes, and they're going to be like, why on earth would you do that bullshit? It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Both things are totally legitimate. They are disgusting, and also there's something about it. It's like this ritualistic thing where it's like it's the breaking bread thing where I like to be like, oh, I'm going to smoke a cigarette or I'm going to have a drink with somebody, and it makes it easier to communicate while doing something else.
Yeah. Just real quick, your life would be so much easier if you just carried around bread. because then you would get all the
Just
same
a pack
things.
of saltines.
Yeah.
Just a communion wafer.
Just like a loaf of bread
Yeah.
under your arm at all times.
I don't think it would be, Michael. I
Anyway,
really don't
go
think
ahead.
it would
Sorry.
be.
Go ahead.
But yeah, no, it hit a point where I was like, oh, I don't want to do this, and then I was like, I was like, I enjoy it now. Like, what do you do then? And like, it's like I go and I make strides to improve my life, and I work out and all this shit, and then I end up smoking cigarettes, and that's not good. I don't want to do that.
Right. No.
And it also is something I'm tied to sentimentally because my dad always did it. My dad always was like, don't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
So there's a sense of like, oh my God, like if my dad knew that I was smoking cigarettes, he would be like, oh crap. And the last thing you want is for your dad
to be disappointed.
And to be like, come on, don't do that. And then that is the most heartbreaking thing in the world.
Yeah.
The problem is that I still enjoy doing it.
Okay. Well, I could help you stop if you want.
Please do, man.
It's not going to be a pleasant experience.
I got to get through this carton that I'm working on right now.
Ooh.
But,
if you hey man, here's the thing, here's a sweeping generalization. If you buy a carton of something, that's too much of that thing.
Yep. I've never bought a carton. I don't want there to be any literal interpretations of what I'm saying. I'm using some hyperbole in this postmodern society.
No, I get it. I get all of it now. I could absolutely help you stop or try to help you to stop. You're
Right.
gonna hate me afterwards, though.
Yeah, I know,
Or
man.
during.
Here's the thing. I don't think I need... Oh, this is going to be this is what an addict says. I don't need help.
Okay.
I just need to decide to do it.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that yet.
I've seen you do it for other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know I have it. Like, if I make the decision, then I will do it. I have to, like, say goodbye to it. Like, I have to be like, all right, I'm not going to do this shitty thing anymore.
That scares me so much, man, because you weren't smoking for that long. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, now I'm going to be outside this club when you roll up. This is my new post-up place until you get here.
But also, I will say that I have no problem being the person who's like, it's become a problem.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Then recognizing it.
I'm not coming down on you. I
I don't feel that way.
I respect you less. We're going to take a break for a sponsor. This
That
week's
means you respected
sponsor.
me a little bit.
I mean, let's not during the sponsor spot, please, Elliott. We have I need a different.
Yeah, definitely different than
This
that.
is different. Okay, this week's sponsor to Dynamic Banter, and we're so happy to have him. That's the ad. We're gonna do this without music. Is Squarespace.
Squarespace.
Do you know about Squarespace, Elliott?
I've never heard of it. Could you tell me a little bit?
I know all about Squarespace, and it's the most perfect, most beautiful, most simple way to make your own website. I have a Squarespace. I have for years. MikeFalzone.com has always been powered by Squarespace as long as it's been good. Create a beautiful website to turn your ideas into a cool website. You could showcase your work. You could publish a blog or something like that. You could sell products or services on your own. Do you make stuff?
Get your services out there.
Do you get your services out there even? Thank you for that, Elliott. You could promote your physical or online business. Do you have a brick and mortar place? Do you run a business out of your mom's house that she doesn't even know about? Promote it on your Squarespace site. Announce an upcoming event. Are you getting married? Are you getting divorced, or a special product, or more?
Wow.
Squarespace.
Squarespace.
Nope. Does this by giving you beautiful templates created by world-class designers, and they're all beautiful. Thank you for the emphasis, Elliott. These are powerful e-commerce functionality that lets you sell anything online, make your own store, make it work real nice. The ability to customize the look and feel and the settings, products with just a few clicks, and this whole thing is drag and drop. You don't need to know none of that HTML. What is that? Sounds like you're speaking a different language than you are.
I lost track.
Do you think that's helping?
A little bit. I genuinely
Everything
do.
optimized for mobile right out of the box. Take a look at your site you just made on your computer. It fits perfectly to your phone. You think that's magic? Nope. It's Squarespace, and it's a new way to buy domains. You can choose from over 200 extensions. We're talking .tv, .Elliott Morgan, .Elliott C. Morgan. You can make Mike Falzone Elliott C. Morgan, and that could be your website.
Please don't.
Through Squarespace. I'd rather you not. Analytics that help you grow in real time, built-in search engine optimization, which is so important in this age of Google, or for whatever that means.
It's hard to find a website that actually does, translate to mobile. There's an amazing amount that don't.
Yeah.
You're like, what am I looking at?
This one doesn't. You want to talk about even more fun stuff? It's free and secure hosting. Okay? And there's nothing to patch or upgrade ever. There's 24/7 award-winning customer service. You got to make it.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Is there a code I can use? Is there some kind of thing? Can you give me a deal?
Can I get there? Because I want to tell you a little bit. I want to tell you some more. I want to tell you to think it. I want to tell you to dream it. I want to tell you to make it. Squarespace. You can go ahead and check out. The code is obviously BANTER. Wow. Do you need me to talk about other people using this website? Because I'll tell you, architects are using it. Art galleries, fine artists, graphic designers.
Something else that starts with an A. Antique places?
Agencies?
Ooh, agencies. Hollywood agencies?
Give me another letter. I dare you to give me another letter.
J.
Jewelry designers are using it. They're using it right now.
X.
Come on, man.
X-ray manufacturers, dude. It's right there in the name.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can't say confidently that any of them are using it. I'm going to need you to go ahead and you go to the checkout, okay, squarespace.com, and for a free trial, when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BANTER to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Do it today. It's Squarespace. And they're great. I was having problems with my website a couple weeks ago, and they fixed it no problem.
That's awesome, man.
I really appreciate you coming here, and I know I've said that a couple times.
Yeah, I know it's a segue. You default to it,
but it's no less true than it was the first time. And I want to say that specifically because we've been talking about how we don't do anything other than work together. That's comedy based, and this is almost that. You
know what we do though? Here's what we do. We do comedy based shit where we see each other, but what we do is we make hangout time. Bookending those things.
Yeah.
So we're on a comedy show. We hang out before. We hang out during. We hang out after. And to be honest with you, man, one of the highlights of my life is being able to do that and to have a part of my life that has like a baked in social element. And I'm always getting out and I'm always experiencing weird things. I couldn't ask for a bigger blessing. Also, we get lunches a lot, so there's that. But I want to go camping, especially after having just coming back from the camping place. I want to do that more. I don't know. What am I supposed to say?
I don't know.
What am I not supposed to say? I guess I don't know.
Well, now you're dancing because you made a misstep.
I made a misstep earlier. Yeah, so I'm a little overly cautious. Maybe
you're doing great.
Yeah, I want to go camping. I want us to do shit that we should be doing besides just let's I don't want to have to book a stand-up tour just to hang out with my buddy.
I'll book a show in the woods. You think I can't book a show in the woods?
Anybody can book a show in the woods.
If you book a show in the woods, does anyone hear it?
There's a little tiny theater in this place we were at, a little tiny theater, and I was like, how fucking fun would it be to do a show? And we have a little cabin that we go to, and then one night everyone drives up, to this mountain town. You drive up a mountain at 6,000 feet in the air.
Yeah.
That's almost a mile, I'll have you know.
6,000 feet. Let me do the math real quick.
It's 750 feet. More, 720 feet more than a full mile. 5,280 feet, I think. Okay, he has a capped Sharpie, and he's rubbing it on his wooden.
Checks out. It's almost a mile.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I'm glad the numbers added up. I was worried, but yeah, how cool would that be? Do some weird shit like that. We know who's going to show up. Who in the world?
Rhino balls.
Ryan's going to? Not after when I opened when we said talk about worms. We never did.
That's a good point. He's never going to listen again.
Yeah.
Thank you for losing our most loyal listener right off the jump.
Barely a listener, borderline co-host.
Yeah. Funnier than me and Steve combined.
Oh, absolutely. The speed of his puns is
It's unbelievable. I want to go to Twitter now, and I want to say that before this started, we asked the universe through Twitter to tell us their favorite things right now, because it's a weird time for the world and a lot of negative things going on right now. But if we could all kind of have a group reflection, and that's my first instance of stepping into the next thing sounds pretentious. If we could all have kind of like a group meditation.
Yeah, man.
And I asked you for your favorite things. I'm going to read some of your favorite things, and then we're going to talk about them.
Let's do it.
I thought you were gearing up because
I was for a second. I had some bullshit to say, but it wasn't going to be good.
Were you going to promote something? You know what my favorite thing is? How you pay, vape. You know?
No, what I was going to do is talk about how, like, you know, if you're always worried about whether or not you're going to sound pretentious, then you're going to end up just not saying what you're thinking. I can't help that what I think and say is somewhat pretentious sounding.
That's fine. I'd rather you have a personality than always trying to check yourself.
Right.
And I'm not
yeah,
saying that's
you were there during the phase where every single thing I said, I would check myself.
Yeah, and during that time, I don't remember anything we did together.
I know, because I was constantly like, well, you know, I would say something.
I hated that.
Yeah, and I now, since then, I've met people who were like that, and I realized it was a problem. Yeah. But then now I've met people like that, and yeah, no, it's unacceptable.
Yeah. Can I say something else about what you were saying about enjoying when we hang out?
Sure.
I have been very nostalgic recently because my mom and dad are getting their kitchen remodeled, right? And for whatever reason, I didn't realize until 2 days ago that I was never going to see the house I grew up in the way I grew up in it ever again.
Yeah.
You know, you go home, every single time you go home, no matter how old you are, you're a little bit taller, and you see your house from a different vantage point you did, you know, all throughout growing up. Your house, for example, got destroyed recently.
Yeah.
So it's all different.
So I can relate to your granite countertop.
Right. I'm gonna, my parents are gonna destroy just the first part on purpose, and then they're gonna make it better because it's old.
My house got, for those listening, my house got a little destroyed by a hurricane that came through in Florida.
Yeah,
but they're fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
But apparently, it was the most terrifying experience that a lot of my family and friends have gone through.
Were they in the house the whole time?
They were in the house during the night, and I guess it was like insane.
Oh, you said the thing with the metal thing?
Yeah, there was some metal thing that came like 3 feet from like bursting through their window and like, you know, killing them. It was like basically I grew up on a lake, and the dock was destroyed, and then the pool porch area was destroyed. I've been to Florida, you know, most houses have like porches on the back, and the railing and everything was just like, there was just projectile shit everywhere. The whole thing became just like this, you know, I don't know. It's like sheet metal. It's like fragile metal.
It's like shrapnel.
Yeah. And it's
flying through the air at hundreds of miles an hour.
Yeah. And then it cuts loose, and then, you know, there's a Ron White joke where he's like, it's not that the wind is blowing, it's what the wind is blowing.
Yeah.
And there's no greater like truth than that when it comes to hurricanes. But yeah, I know the feeling, because when they sent me pictures, I was like, oh no. I was like, one more thing will never be the same.
Now it's different. But what I was getting at is that there are little pockets of things that I can look back at throughout my whole life, and people I've hung out with, and things that I've done kind of on the regular that make me not sad, but it makes me miss, you know, the olden days.
Yeah.
Like in high school and trips home from college, me and my friend Aaron just used to drive this loop, and we called it the excursion. And, you know, it was like however many miles, and we would just like, we wouldn't go drink, or we wouldn't go, you know, go to a bar or a club or whatever. Like, it would be super late at night after whatever we did, and we would just drive, you know, forever and listen to music and get lost on purpose. And it was my favorite.
I started doing that by myself. I'll drive around,
especially around here.
Night.
It's cool. Yeah. So like things like that. And then, you know, there was a whole time in our life in our early 20s where we were all in Connecticut, and every time it would snow and the state would shut down, we would all play Halo online together and have the most fun. And I think I'm going to be 33 at the end of this month.
Year of our Lord.
And I think that is us going out and doing stand-up and hanging out before, and especially after, I think that's the thing for like this stage in my life.
Yep.
For sure.
You're totally right. It is it's something that you hear about it, and you're always like, when people are like, oh, the good old days, like, oh, you got those things, cherish it while you have it.
Yeah.
And then, we're like, yeah, we'll cherish it, whatever, we're enjoying it. We know we're enjoying it. But then, like, there is an element of like, oh, we get to actually, for one, we get to cut our teeth and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's like, oh, this is it. They were right. Like, it is, when a venue that we used to perform at gets shut down, gets shut down, it is sad.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, man, this is actually like a very weird thing that we also have a sense of humor about, because none of us are like, we're doing great. We're doing great.
Yeah.
Like, we really are, but we're not killing it. Like, we're not like at a place where,
like, we don't have any money, for example.
Right. We don't have what do you call it? Money.
Money. That's the one.
We're doing great, but we also have a sense of humor about where we're at and where we want to be, and a self-deprecating. Like,
yeah. I think we're old enough to be present in what's happening.
That's what it is. That's a great thing. Yeah. That's a very nice way to put it.
I've been trying to stop and make sure that the good old days, that we catch them before we know that they're good old days.
Yeah, there's a song about that. It's called "Good Old Days."
That's the one
by Macklemore.
That's the one. It's play.
Got Kesha in it. Kesha's the feature, and her voice is beautiful in it.
Let's play just a couple minutes of.
You just lost a lot of fans from this book.
That was "Good Old Days" by Kesha.
Was it really? Was that the beginning?
No. So what we went ahead and did was we asked you your favorite things on Twitter, and I'd like to do this for a couple minutes because I like this. I think this is going to be great. Ghoulia, everyone's doing the thing where they have spooky Halloween names.
Spooky Halloweens, yeah.
No. I'm guessing her name is Julia and not actually Ghoulia, but correct me if I'm wrong, please. She says juice.
I think 1 year I changed mine to Elliott Halloween Morgan.
That's good. Yeah. Elliott Halloween name Morgan. I was thinking about doing Mike Candy Corn isn't that bad. Give it a chance, Falso.
Yeah, it's really not that bad.
I fucking love candy corn. And if you don't, come at me. We've spoken at great length. Ad nauseum. She goes, juice. But that could be because I have a cold. Fucking me too, Julia. I'm not usually a juice person. Juice has too much sugar in it, but ooh, yeah, is it comforting when there's a problem. Urinary tract problem, cranberry juice.
Oh, yeah. There's certain things you can have that are like really give you kind of like I just did something really good.
Yeah.
Like I had some Dayquil the other day. Just liquid Dayquil.
Sure.
Of the day. Wasn't even sick.
Like as much as would normally feel like a juice?
About.
That's too
about.
much. That's too much.
And I gotta say, first of all, I did see some demons.
Okay.
I
saw a couple.
Saw a couple deems.
Very real.
Very real. And looked like my father. But yeah, no, that's a beautiful thing. Here's a beautiful thing. This comes from LP Soldier for Life. This is how my city has come together over the last 4 days. The city that he's talking about, Las Vegas. Okay. Vegas strong. Vegas has heart. Hashtag Battleborn. Hashtag Battleborn is a nice thing because that's... I've been listening to Killer's new album. Killers are from Vegas. They have some songs that remind me of Vegas. There's a song called Neon Tiger that I was listening to in the post-apocalyptic environment that was Monday. That kind of like, oh shit hit the fan, and we're all kind of somber. Which, by the way, that was a unique experience at that comedy show. How did the comedy show go after I left? Because I had to leave to be back in the cabin.
It was very weird, obviously.
Weird, right? Like the audience was just sort of like, we're gonna laugh at this? Okay.
Yes. Can I tell you something though?
Please.
If I could toot, Zoya said it was the most fun she's had watching me in a very long time.
Good.
I did very, very well.
Good.
Because I came from the opposite of that during the day, and I just remember being in the airport in Toronto, and I was like, I cried 3 or 4 times, and I just had strangers on either side of me, and I was like trying to cover my face, and I was just like very uncomfortable. And I'm nowhere near the situation, but it's obviously just sad for all of us.
I like the idea that you have to justify being sad.
Yeah,
about a massacre,
Isn't it?
It is weird because I had the same thing where I was like, am I just doing this because, I'm like, fuck it. Like, if there's anything that I can do to give me that kind of emo, and so I don't know what I was watching. I think I was just thinking about it. I was in my car and I was like, imagine being the amount of people that, because you think about the number of victims, and then it's like, imagine one person that and how many people losing that person would affect, and how connected we actually all are. And then you go, okay, well, there's 58 people, but then there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of more that are injured. And then you hear about this other person and the families that have to hear the news and like the people that wake up to those phone calls and those text messages. It's like,
and the things that they did, like a nursery school teacher, coach, those
normal people,
right? Those people affect so many people in a positive way.
Oh, you're right. That's
gone.
a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, the people that kind of are like doing like more service based jobs. That's a great point. But yeah, I did the crying thing and I listened to some music and got sad. But I also think, I don't know if we've talked about this or not, but like I think that it's important to have that kind of like emotional thing. Are you pointing at this because?
Oh, it was just making a little thing. I'm sorry.
No, it's horrible. I need to get rid of it. But talking about my phone case, it's really shitty. But I kind of like how shitty it is. It's fun. I'm waiting for it.
It has character.
Yeah. But yeah, I go through this thing where I think it's really important to feel that like emotional catharsis, and then other people are like, no, we're going to dive right into the politics, and then other people are like, don't dive into the politics, dive into the emotional state, have a moment of silence and all that, which I think is great, and I think that's important. I don't know. I think I've come to the conclusion, because I used to be the person that was like, don't politicize it, blah blah blah, and then people are like, how dare you say don't politicize it, because we have to stop this from happening again.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, and I want to throw this at you because I want to know your opinion of it. I think that the people who say don't politicize it, have a moment of silence, have a prayer, have a thought, whatever you want to call it, reflect on it. I think that kind of behavior typically leads to the best kind of change if given the opportunity. Like I think if you have a moment where you feel the emotional catharsis of it, you're not lashing out at somebody, you're not lashing out at any group, and you're just entering into the despair that is the loss of human life. I think that's beneficial across the board. However, I don't know what you think about this. I don't think that any change can happen without a very emotional, very passionate kind of screaming that I think I see a lot of people doing, specifically on the left, where it's like, no, ban this, get this illegalized, this is enough. And I think that like they're right in terms of anything happening. If anything is going to happen nowadays, I think it has to happen right out of the gate, and I think it has to be people screaming bloody murder to make it happen. And all of the people who are typically more Republican, typically more whatever, they tend to be a little bit more right-brained, and they tend to just be like, well, this is the best way to do it, and this isn't going to solve anything, therefore we're going to vote against it, and all that stuff. And it's very logical, and it's very like, they'll have the facts and they'll have the data and all this stuff, and it can be skewed or it cannot be skewed. But at the same time, it's like, none of that matters. Like, actual change is so difficult to enact that it requires a certain level of like, no, F you, this is what we're doing.
It was written that way. Why can't it be, it's like, think about the amendments when they wrote them, how much passion was behind all that, just trying to gain your independence from another, country.
It's also weird, the lust that people have for the Constitution, where it's like,
very weird.
It's so freaking weird, man. It's like, I do legitimately think that people have forgotten that an amendment is not a commandment. And like,
it's called an amendment, which means it's in a state of flux.
Yeah. Which is a fun part. Sorry, but go ahead. I didn't mean to deviate into that dark thing, but it was something I
No. I mean, how could you not? I think. Oh, there's so many things I wanted to say, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Well, it's like the people who think like that and who take that moment, and then I think their whole thought process is like, I can't believe this happened. First of all. And then you try to get over that because that doesn't help anybody. And then it's like, how did this happen? Like, what pieces are in place that this could possibly happen? How can we take those pieces out of place so this never happens again?
Yeah.
And then I think you get really passionate about not doing it. And as far as not politicizing it or not talking about it right away, it's like, before Las Vegas, when was the last time you heard somebody talk about Sandy Hook?
You're right.
Like, it just doesn't happen. And then it's like saying, like, it just, first of all, it happens on the regular. It happens every so often, and it's a regular thing in this country, and it's horrifying. And it's like, if now is not the time, then like, you let me know when is good for you, and hopefully it happens before the next one happens, and just know that the clock is ticking, and I hope it's not you, and I hope it's not me.
Yeah,
and
that's what we're supposed to do. It's a real catch-22, because it's like, I do think that the best legislation comes from rationally minded individuals, not people who are distraught or emotionally motivated.
Yeah.
I think that about most things in life. That said, that goes back to like the postmodern, but like there is value to being like pissed off and being like, no, this sucks, because people forget, and we know we forget.
Why we have our independence if you're in love with all that old stuff.
Yeah. It's so weird, isn't it? Like, so gross. People, I mean, I get it. It's amazing. Our forefathers were amazing. They weren't saints. They weren't like they had no I don't the adoration that is shown to our heritage is such a weird thing that it's unique. Like America is unique in its total attitude, which is something that the left forgets, because the left is like, well, what about this country, this country, and this country? And it's like, you forget that we were born out of rebellion. We were born out of doing the thing that goes against the grain, and it's stayed in our bones, for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
This has been Dynamic Banter, everybody. Thank you
so much. That was History Road. That was actually a pretty good History Road, and I don't have any of the music, and I got nothing because Steve left me, and I don't even have the login information to upload this. But we're going to do our best.
Ben Johnsick, good person. Love the guy. He said, let's talk about tater tots.
Ooh, tater tots.
Good stuff, right?
Little change of pace, but absolutely. There's a bar down the street that does cheese and bacon infused tater tots.
And buffalo flavored, right?
No, buffalo flavored cauliflower.
Everything in a public school?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was tater tots that were like more than cheese. I thought there was like a buffalo thing going on there.
It's so much more than cheese.
They are so good, dude. Those were insane.
Can I tell you what's even better?
Please do.
This place on the 30 that we know on Ventura Boulevard, they have bacon wrapped dates.
Oh,
and
I think we had it the first time.
We have had it, yeah. And it's unlike anything I've ever tasted. I will say, however, that in grade school, were you a hot lunch boy?
Yeah.
Every so often?
What do you think? Do you think I was...
You look like a hot lunch boy, for sure. You look like a kid who would have called me a name for not having a snack ticket.
Do you think I was a mean kid?
No.
I was never a mean kid.
I don't think you're a mean kid.
It came through. It came through a little bit.
I do want to say that every time there were tater tots involved in the hot lunch.
Guess who became a hot lunch kid?
Guess who became a hot lunch kid? It's Lucky Tray Day, baby.
I was a mini corn dog kid.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude.
Most southern thing I've heard today.
Oh, my God. Mini corn dogs. Oh, give me.
Most Florida thing I've heard the past 10 minutes.
Give me some fucking mini corn dogs.
Ooh,
I'll dip it in ketchup and mustard. Eat 17 of them before my history class.
You're a ketchup on hot dog kid?
I am a ketchup on a hot dog kid, but I can go straight mustard. I don't mind.
Yeah, I
like onions.
I always thought that shit was gross. Ketchup on a hot dog is the grossest shit. Grosser than avocado. I'm going to make a lot of enemies.
You don't like avocado?
I'm not an avocado guy, and I've tried it
You ever had
so many
salt
times.
and pepper? Just a little bit.
I've had all different kinds, baby. Dress it up, dress it down. Not so much because I love cream cheese. I love a spreadable boy, but
I'm very confused. Then you've given
fucking
me no
guacamole. I don't like.
Okay, guacamole's guacamole.
Yeah, but it's mostly an avocado thing. I don't like it on stuff. You slice it up and put it on sandwiches.
Guacamole, I will say, is kind of like when you eat it. I think it takes away from the avocado. I think the guacamole is like when I put guacamole on chips.
Yeah,
I got to put so much guacamole to be able to taste the guacamole because it's kind of tasteless.
Interesting.
I don't like guacamole very much. I don't think
there's an onion situation that I'm not incredibly fond of. There's a cilantro thing, and cilantro tastes like toothpaste to me.
Oh, I'm
one of those people.
Yeah,
I don't have that. I mean, I'll try everything, man. But moving on. This is about our favorite things, and we just accidentally dipped into least favorite.
Those two things are.
I'm trying to find another one.
Comedy, they're so easily.
Rusty Clanton says ghouls. There's a real theme to today's episode.
People are really wanting to just move on, aren't they?
Yeah.
People are like, we got holidays, right?
Oh, here's one. Jack and Dax says the C in Elliott C. Morgan is his favorite thing right now.
Oh, fun. Yeah, thank you. That's very sweet of you.
Is it Christopher?
It is Christopher. Sometimes I say it's cocaine. Sometimes I say it's Christian. Sometimes I make other jokes about it. I have the C because Elliott Morgan was taken, so my social media is not uniform. And I think that's really where it all went wrong.
Cool. I really tried to stay interested and engaged the whole time.
Dude, I started thinking about something else as soon as I started talking about...
we have the same middle name. That's fun.
It is.
That would be on the back of our baseball cards.
I think that's where it all went wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you thought about what you're going to be for Halloween?
Yeah. An adult. Spooks McGee says
It'll be the first time.
my, and that's why I invite him over. My cat screaming at squirrels at 5 a.m. while I'm trying to sleep. I have been watching so many animal videos on Instagram recently.
Come on, man. How good are they? Can
I
show
love
you one
when
that
they
I saw?
fight. I love when they're upset.
Oh.
I love when they're being too cute for their own good.
The amount of wrong that they do is so tiny. You know what I mean?
The amount of wrong that they do is so right.
Let me show you this dog. This is called, I like what it means. This is called actual footage of me overthinking a simple task.
These are fun.
Hang on, here it is. Watch this fucking dog. It's a little golden retriever puppy. It
Okay.
sees a step.
Oh, yeah.
It hurls like 2 feet in the air because it doesn't understand that it could just step down.
Yeah, that's so good. Oh, that's
They're
so good.
We were watching baby elephant videos. Animal videos on your phone
Yeah.
are such an underappreciated thing.
It's going to save the world.
15 years ago, we didn't have that. Can
No.
you imagine if you could just have access to cute puppies all the time? How much better life would be? We need to cherish these things.
Do you think that Kim Jong-un has access to cute animal videos on his phone?
What do you think's going on with that guy, huh?
I, honest to God, and this is a sign of the times, have no idea what's happening with anyone anymore.
I think that's a very you're about to be 33 kind of thing, where you're just like, huh, I thought I had some of it figured out, but it turns out that none of this makes any sense.
No, I'm at a point right now where I can't make a lot of sense out of stuff. Like, I'm very,
You said no, but that sounds like exactly what I just said.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
meant
I meant no, yeah.
This is why we don't get involved. Yeah, man. I don't get it.
I hope that we could tour colleges together. I'll say that.
Oh, my God.
And
Oh,
also,
by the
if
way-
you have a college,
Yep.
we should say, if you're the owner of a college, I don't know,
Or the
if you have the
recipient
deed,
of one.
or if you work in student services, have me and Elliott go to meandelliott.com
This
and book us.
cannot. We're specifically Mike and I are doing. We've submitted for this thing called NACA, which your college probably is a part of, and it's for acts to perform in the colleges. This costs usually nothing to the students. Usually, it comes out of a fund from the college.
Yeah, like your school pays the act, and then we just come
Right.
and hang out.
Now, granted, there's no such thing as a free lunch. We can get into how much that actually costs. But anyway, it
Well,
costs
you're
you
paying
basically
tuition.
nothing. Yeah, you're paying tuition. So with that, you could see me and Mike perform. And if you guys wanted to ask us to do that, I can guarantee you it would bring us no greater joy than to be able to travel. We're hoping to book next year. I think I would like to book 40 to 50 colleges.
How
And
awesome would that be?
I think, yeah. And I think that I think there's a very good shot of that happening.
And I'm going to say I like to book even one.
Even one would be great.
But dude, could you imagine 40 or 50 colleges or one?
I can imagine 40 or 50. I'd like to go with that.
I'd like anywhere between 40 and 50, 100, 200 colleges and one.
I would love to not be 2019 and then be like, what was 2018? And I would be like, I did one college.
I did a ton of bar shows.
what it
I
does.
did a college once.
If you are in our tiny little pool of people who listen, it helps so much to just say these people, because we can come and other people will come and it'll be great. And it really does ultimately is help us as performers, and it gives us a great reason to live, which would be fun.
It does. And like we were saying before, the college pays us. Also, even if you don't go to college and you have a comedy club anywhere near you, the best way to get the word out about new comedians is to tweet or call them and be like, these are these guys from LA and they tour every once so often. And
Make it happen.
yeah, please make it happen.
We can take care of everything else. Just if you make your voice heard, it helps a lot.
Let's do a couple more of these favorite things and then let's
plug.
close up shop.
Great, man. That sounds great.
Brought to you by Squarespace. Marissa says brown sugar honey latte. It's full of BS, honey. I feel like the second part of that destroys the first part of that. Brown sugar honey latte. I can't get past thinking about the brown sugar Pop-Tart. A comedian was talking about that recently.
What's your pumpkin spice? What's your take on pumpkin spice? I know you had that video. Do you know we've known each other for a while? When I can very recently remember you talking to me about your pumpkin spice video and you being like, kind of popping right now.
Yeah, it did well.
That video did well, and I remember you
it's
noticing
seasonal.
it.
Yeah, I had fun doing that one, and it was nice. I like pumpkin spice stuff. I really like. We used to do like alcoholic hot cider, and put the mulling spices in it, and get some spice box whiskey, and that was very nice. That's a little bit of a seasonal. And
that's what you bring to what we like to call the woods trip that we're planning, that I'm going to plan. And we're all going to go to the woods, and we're all going to have some hot tatas.
We're all going to get a little
little don't feel good next day.
We're all going to get a little. I hope I turned off my phone before I got that much.
Because you know how I get political real bad when I get a little. Ow!
You know how I text my landlord, tell her what I think of her when I get a little.
You know how I text ex-girlfriends when I, you know?
You know how Zoya texts all my ex-girlfriends when I get drunk.
Hey, bitch, it's Zoya.
I'm back.
Listen, I had something else to say.
Go ahead.
When I was on this Shoptic suit.
Don't make me edit again, please.
I won't. They did a makeup. They had makeup there, and they had to make me look hungover. But twist ending.
Sometimes next day I'll be a dog.
Art imitating life. And one day I was like,
you just hold up your hand to the makeup.
Yeah, I was like,
person.
I was like, I'm fine. I went down and they were like, well, we're gonna. But because I was already like kind of hungover because we'd shot for 20 hours and then we all stayed up and drank out of a bottle, which was really fun and camaraderie based, and which kind of takes the life out of it when I detail it like that.
And no one brought cups, you said.
Oh God, no. Why would they? And at a cabin, last thing you're gonna want is cups or silverware, cutlery, dishes.
Yeah.
Silverware, cutlery, same thing. Whatever. Bottom line, I looked beyond hungover.
Sure.
Like, I looked like
too much. They had to dial it back.
Nailed it. Like it looked like I was a corpse, and they were like, but I kind of like the look, so I'm gonna go for kind of a hangover look from now on.
I know. I mean, I have no doubt that you could achieve that yourself.
Thanks, man.
I believe in you. This guy says cereal with soy milk. That can't be real,
all
right?
Food based, right? Like
most of them are food. Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal with soy milk. There's a lot going on there.
Soy milk. That's probably. I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch late at night. I treat Cinnamon Toast Crunch like a nice dessert.
It is, but then you get that thing where your teeth are coated in the cinnamon toast.
It leaves kind of a
remnants.
weedy, sort of like musty scent to your breath. Did you ever watch More American Vandal?
No, not yet. I'd like to though.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That was fun, right? Or was I out of my mind?
No. It was very funny.
Okay, cool.
And
but you had fun watching it.
I did have fun.
All right, because I woke up the next day and I was like, did people have fun?
I made them watch that show. No, It was very funny. And we do stand up with somebody who's in that show, and I was interested to see how they did.
Who do we do stand up that's in the show?
Sean. He's very good looking. He was on soap operas, and he's a very Irish sounding name.
Oh, okay.
I was on Grannison's show with him, and he's always at the Comedy Store. God damn it, Sean!
Show, man, I felt so bad.
Flair Nagarity here.
Flair Nagarity
used to be a boxer. I think
I had to cancel on Grandison. I had to cancel on Ryan Dune. I was doing his show at the Improv, and I had to cancel on him as well.
Damn, son! Last night,
yeah,
you could have given me that spot. You could have said, "Hey, I can't do it." But my friend Mike, you wouldn't believe the joke he has.
We can talk about this after the podcast because I have feedback on that.
That's fine.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right.
Do you...
Uh-oh.
Let me ask you this.
Uh-oh.
It's tradition.
Serious conversation.
It's tradition that we end each podcast with a history road.
Can I read it? No, I'll let you talk.
You absolutely can.
I'd like to lead.
This is where there's kind of a disconnect, though, because I don't have access to the vault.
You want me to make up a history road on the spot? I'll do it.
I want you to just tell me a very short, old, possibly embarrassing story about you shitting your pants as a kid. Have you ever shit your pants?
Does it have to be as a kid? Not fully. I have never fully taken a full shit in my own pants. No.
Okay, you said that like I was like I said, hey, Elliot, you're disgusting.
No.
Tell me about when
No.
you shit your pants.
No, I said it like you were like, you lived in a dorm, right, in college? And I was like, no, I didn't get to live in a dorm. I didn't have the full college experience.
No, when
That's what I'm
when
saying.
I think about shitting your pants,
Left out.
I think like 6th grade shit your pants.
Okay.
5th grade
I
shit
never
your
had
pants.
that. But
The only time I ever shit my pants was during sickness. That's the only thing I could think of. I was never like, I was so drunk, and then when I woke up, there were 2 of us, and one was in my pants. You know what I'm saying?
once upon a time, I was a younger lad, younger than I am now. Now approaching 30. It seems like the days of my mid-20s were even further behind me than it seemed.
That needs to be slower, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Also, please don't pay attention to any grammar or tense issues.
Tense issues?
Yeah, like tense, past tense, future tense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not happy with what I said either. Sometimes I do feel like I don't like me, you know?
I like you.
Thanks.
Is that enough?
All right. As soon as you hit that music, I'm gonna.
Okay. It's an ad. There's an ad
It is an
first.
ad. We're gonna have to skip that after 5 seconds.
Steve is so good at not playing the ads. Speaking of which, you're going to want to check out Squarespace. Make your
I'm
first
sorry,
move.
I'm not Steve.
That's okay. To tell you the honest to God truth, I'm sorry I'm not Steve as well right now.
I'm about to start a podcast. It's gonna blow this. It's gonna be so much fun. I wanted to do a crossover podcast with the 4 of us.
With
but-
you, Lee, and me and Steve?
No, not me and Lee. It's too hard to plan that shit.
Okay.
Me and Pete. The podcast, it's gonna be real good.
I would love to hear Pete
How
and
fun
Steve
do you
talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like,
and then
that's
we'll
gonna be
talk
amazing.
over him or whatever. All right, go ahead. I got to go blow my nose.
When I was 30 years old. Nope. Scratch it. Start over again. It happened when I was in my early to mid-20s. It's hard to remember the exact year because life was so haphazard then. Ups and downs, lefts and rights. Suddenly I found myself on a vacation in a little place called Punta Cana. All-inclusive resort. Humble brag. And the food there was non-American. And say what you want about Americans, but I'm used to American food. I had a number of spicy meatballs. I had some Indian types of food. None of it seemed to be from where the food purported to be from. For example, the pizza was sort of like someone who heard of the vague idea of a pizza and then made it up as they went along.
Yeah, pizza, I know that.
Yeah, pizza, I know. Dough, cheese, pepperoni. Yeah, sure.
Everything is in a circle, right?
Sure. How much of everything do I put? Nothing? Okay.
You take all you have, you put it in a circle, you heat it up.
And I ate it and I ate it and I ate it because it was all inclusive. Also, thunderstorms every day. We're being rained out. So what else is there to do? Drink, eat, drink, eat.
It's raining outside. Hurry up and put everything in a circle and heat it up.
I remember this one time, they said it was going to be hamburgers. Hamburgers, you've heard of such things. I can't even describe how disgusting it was. Horrid food. Rubbery.
Remind me of what a hamburger is. Everything in a smaller circle, you heat it up.
It was all geometrically based foods. All circle, all the time. Even the cantaloupes. Spherical, nearly already, cut into little circles. 2-dimensional. Anyway. Bottom line is, I went back to my room that night. And I laid down in bed. And I said to myself, oh boy, somebody's a little gassy. Oh, a little gassy. Nothing bad happens to Elliott, though. At least he thought at the time. The lessons were to be learned on that trip. And there was one specific time where I let out a fart, where I made a conscious decision before the fart. I said, let it go. Don't hold back. Don't try to stifle it. Don't try to let just enough out so you can go on with the rest of your day feeling good about yourself. It was the end of the day. I'm on vacation. Let your gut out a little bit. So I let it out. And it went fine. And I know that there are people out there with worse stories, more gross stories. But here's what I will say. After the fart happened and after I'd kind of allowed myself to fully just sort of be who I am, I felt a slight trickle down. Just the lightest trail, an organ trail, just cutting through with a machete, cutting through the forest of hair that's down there, getting caught, pivoting, All it wanted to do was go to the center of the earth. You've heard of gravity. It was going toward the center of the earth, which meant it was going to wrap its way around my butt cheek and it was going to go toward the bed. And it was, is this not how these normally go? And I felt the warm sensation of a tiny bit of diarrhea cascading down myself gently, like it cared about me, like it wanted me to feel good. Like it was like, you wanted this, right? You opened the old, what do you call them? Doors. Door. Garage. Yeah, that's it. That's
Elliott, I can't thank you enough for sharing that
Just
experience.
a little trickle-down story. It's nothing big. I didn't shit myself. I'm not disgusting, but I definitely shat a little bit on myself.
I thought that the story and the way you told it was beautiful. It was like you were reading a painting.
Thank you, man, and thank you for letting me get that off my chest.
Absolutely, and hopefully I'll help you get it off your thigh. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Dynamic Banter. Thank you so much, Elliott, for filling in for Steve.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Steve, for letting me. Thank you, Mike, for inviting me.
Thank you to everyone for thanking me. This has been Dynamic Banter. Thank you for sponsoring it at squarespace.com.
That was a HeadGum podcast.